So on screen you should see me, well, I'm in real life clicking through the, basically what you're going to be seeing if I didn't already put it in the thumbnail, and it should be pretty obvious what or who it is, but without further ado, I mean, I'm still working on it. The past 24, 48 hours have been also crazy for me. So without further ado, we'll get into it, and I will show you basically the other thing I've been working on that has to do with World of Horror. But as we do a quick switch there, because I didn't set my fades on this OBS, also had some OBS problems, but that was not the reason why I did not make a World of Horror video yesterday. So as we get Colt, Azal, and a whole other random item stats run, we are going to continue on this. If it takes me another month to complete this mystery, I will be quite sad with myself. But I am busy doing game development, writing, and other projects, so I'll do my best. So without thinking, I think we're on Colt. Am I going crazy? I'm just gonna say Colt, and then I know we're on Azal. So for timestamp's sake, as we get into this Azal Colt random item stats run, the only other thing I've changed is that I think I fixed the way that I use this skill, because the skill also checks to see if you have well, this item equipped, but really it checks to see if a variable is set, which is set by this item being equipped. So knowledge, second mystery, and then second encounter, Tachi-san, charisma, and then maybe dexterity. And now basically you won't heal after you slap an enemy on the ground with this spell. So shrug, and then I'll show that just to be sure, but what really happens is that you end up using the cost anyway because you're still in battle, but now it won't trigger. I should have used that before I entered the bath. Yeah, the skill only triggers in battle, but when combat is completed, it takes care of that condition is all I'm trying to say. So as we get Hiriko, Ramen, Teacher, Botanist, Coma. Again, I haven't been throwing any custom mysteries into the mix because I just want to be sure I do this correctly. That being said, you'll note that I also didn't change. I don't think I changed the damage values. I think I tried working with -3 all base and with Blood Frenzy actually stacking as intended. Yeah, you get slapped with -5 all, so I didn't want to do that. I also was supposed to change the investigation after this to be the encounter you've been seeing for the whole time, but I decided not to do that because I did not get to that in the last 24, 48 hours, which, again, the primary reason why I did not get a video out yesterday for World of Horror specifically is because I didn't really get anything that I wanted recorded, basically, and really it's just the art, but I also wanted to just complete more of the mystery as well, but there's not much else to say about that. That was Doom, right? Why do I feel like that used to take out Reese? Anywho, you get the point. We're slowly getting closer to completion. You will be still fighting the same boss in both versions of the mystery. Let me say that again, because I feel like I flubbed that line. You will be fighting both. You will be fighting this boss in both versions of the mystery. I wanted to add more. I was wondering if I should add another, like, arm extending out over on the left side, but I decided not to. Also, I did not fix the inspect text, so if I do inspect this encounter, you'll see the same one that for the other encounter, the other enemy that was here. That is now going to be a mid boss. I can talk about balance at this point, so for just a show, we'll use this skill. So you'll notice that I healed 10 stamina there, but then you can use it again, but then you'll pay the cost and not heal. Now, this might result in other weird bugs, but I haven't found any yet, so shrug. Also, that's right, we're on Azal, so yeah, but to note though, if we're talking about the balance of custom mysteries, if you are to, if you're trying to make it more balanced to not be too hard or not to be too easy, basically if you have any other enemies that are a bit chunkier or more dangerous to a character, put them in the middle of the mystery, about halfway through, because not every mystery is about 7 investigations. That would normally be about investigation number 3 or number 4. You would put your mid boss basically, but it could be just an enemy. But if you're using a lot of enemies, say like in I think Phantasms, which has a bunch of sea-based creatures, then you can sprinkle those all over. If you have a bunch of hard bosses or hard enemies, you could theoretically do the same thing, but that it's a lot to do if we haven't seen from story. So, and I'm mentioning mystery names, custom mystery names, because I use the last word of a mystery to kind of identify them until we get 2 mysteries of the same name. I'm wondering if I can actually do this. I think I can do this, like actually in real life, because that's the only real limiting factor here, but Yeah, if you have a boss and then you want to put another enemy or two, basically spread them out. If you have two enemies, then spread them out like, investigation 2 or 3, and then maybe 1 in 5, but really 6, even though you might be fighting enemies back to back. Usually by the end of your mystery, people are, or a character is a bit more prepared. Even though that's not entirely true, if you take like a custom mystery with 3 enemies and one of them being a boss first as your first mystery, that can be a bit intense. But depends on what those enemies' HP values and damage types, or how much damage they do, basically. But that's up to a specific instance. I'm not going to try and judge blanket cover a mystery, although I will do so at times, but you get the point. That was 21 damage because we got bonus damage, so I knew using Cranial Fracture here does 16 damage minimum, so I should have known that that would have happened. So I didn't grab the handcuffs, by the way, but I think it's going to be fine. So we do the same thing anyway. Again, the limiting factor here is that your ability to do that, what I just did, do handcuff tech basically, but hey, also theoretically speaking, we can do handcuff tech here as well. But I want to brace first. So, because this school's HP is real HP, not like Oitaru, basically. Oitaru. So I can do this, and then I should be able to use this here. I forgot if Azal is watching something. Injury and allies. Okay, so I can't really control that. So off we go. Some of them you can. Injury is more likely, but that depends on your funds. And then curses, you just pray to the old gods or the good gods as we take Sensor Bunny off the screen. Did I actually? Well, if Sensor Bunny didn't come up on the screen, then so be it, because I just realized OBS was still in studio mode. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, basically, the recording software I use has basically a regular mode and studio mode. Studio mode makes it so that, well, anyone who doesn't know how things work in a studio or otherwise, you basically have 2 screens to show one that shows the changes that you're making actively, and then the other one is what you're actually recording or streaming. So you're gonna get a little behind the scenes for just streaming or recording in general. But yeah, that's studio mode. So basically, if I put Sensor Bunny on screen now, it'll appear immediately as I click it. But if I go to studio mode, Sensor Bunny shouldn't appear. But it's not so bad because again, I do believe that boss for teacher isn't so bad. It's just that I'm being safe. But if the one video in hundreds that I've made is bad, then I guess we're gonna find out. So yeah, so that's what I did catch myself there, but it would have been a while, because while it was happening, I probably said Sensor Bunny's going up on screen, and someone was saying, Jordan, you didn't put Sensor Bunny on screen, but I'm just like, okay, well. If everyone, streaming or making videos on World of War left, right, and center on different platforms didn't already run into problems, then if I slip up here, yeah. If I don't, then it's just at least muscle memory, or at least practice, so that I get to work with studio mode in OBS more, because I don't often do so. And as you may have noticed, I haven't been streaming lately either. Although I really should. That was probably the item rule, because I finally forgot my Azal rule. But we have 34% Doom moving into our 4th mystery. We're relatively well. Now we can't keep leaving items in our inventory, because if we have the experience rule, we get absolutely destroyed. But that's World of War stuff. Anywho, and then keeping in mind, yes, if you can do handcuff tech with this character, with this perm plugin combination here, because this is very specific to the perm plugin, then yeah, sure, you profit. We did get the experience rule, by the way. So I do need to watch out. I mean, I could just store stuff now, because I'm really just slapping things left, right, and center. We'll use this, even though, yeah, I was about to say, that's not really a ritual. In fact, it's an active spell, so I don't know why I'm going crazy. It's because I'm autopiloting. Oh, goodness. So in the meanwhile, I can't just talk about stuff while I'm autopiloting anyway, because autopiloting, I think, is a skill you can basically multitasking. But yeah, for game development stuff, I mentioned that I was having problems with plugins. I think I'm just going to do a workaround, and by that I mean not use the plugins I was working with. Again, I work with primarily RPG Maker, as the game sneaks a 12 roll by me. But yeah, RPG Maker has plugins, or basically things that you can use that are not given at base if you, say, go buy any engine of RPG Maker. then yeah, you would have. If you want to do other stuff, there are ready-made plugins that others have made. Some for commercial use, some for non-commercial use, meaning you can't use them in games that you actively sell or are selling, say on Steam, itch.io, GameJolt, so on and so forth. And yeah, that's I everything should be good. It's just that I couldn't get the plugins to actually do what they need to do. Usually what you'll run into is that you're using plugins made by different people, and some of the plugins interfere with each other. For the most part, most people who make plugins account for that by trying to make their plugin as less invasive as possible. Also experience rule, but I had barely that much experience, so anywho. But yeah, it's I think I'm just gonna work around it. Again, I'm making very small. Again, even shrinking smaller than small kitten, than a little kitten, and into another game that I mean, it's still technically wintertime, but boy, oh boy, it's taking me a long time. It's because you haven't already noticed, making art or images for me making images, art, so on and so forth, graphics based assets is the longest part. It's not even making, sometimes it's modifying, because I'm using base World of also base World of Horror, but for World of Horror custom content. But for RPG Maker, using RPG Maker tile sets that are given to me and modifying them to my to what I need them to be, because sometimes I want, say, a treasure chest to be half open instead of just open. Sometimes I want a light to kind of move in place. Sometimes these are not specific examples, but they are examples that I can use. Sometimes I want a character to not just be lying down, they want them to be kind of slumped over, so on and so forth. This does take time. It doesn't take too much time, but it does take time. So again, if I wanted to be safer, I could cranial fracture into an attack. That's safer. But if I can do handcuff tech, basically that recovers stamina. Otherwise, if without handcuff tech, yes, that is for stamina damage for a bunch of damage. So either way, you're kind of breaking even. But of course, if you're missing stamina, hey. Also, I should level up here because Azal's about to slap me with like 14 plus Doom. So I took on my own without even checking to see if I had a thing. Why did I get 16 Doom, by the way? Fund rule. Well, I still survive, funny enough, as long as, yeah, okay, that was my last mystery, and up the lighthouse we go. So, again, if nothing else, the fact that if you use handcuff tech with this character, I need to keep stating it because it's kind of important. It is really important, not kind of, it's really important. Using handcuff tech with this character is very, 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 very healthy for your HP, stamina, reason, or Doom. Indirectly Doom, because then you're not resting. I forgot what mystery I took second. Or second. I think it was teacher. Yeah, it was teacher. But yeah, it's kind of important. So without further ado, it had to have. I don't actually know. I think I fought Time Warper first. I did not. I'm going crazy, but it doesn't matter. If I were a bit more pressed for Doom, I would have been a bit more worried. I could have used handcuffs here, but I'm just gonna be lazy and Ghostly Spirit twice into a cranial fracture, and then Takshi's-kan can kind of just worm and squiggle on the ground as I ascend the lighthouse. He's okay. It's just we need to take care of him. So yeah, without further ado, slowly getting closer. There's just like 2 or 3 more major things I want to do, major relative to the mystery. Basically, just add back that old enemy into the middle of the mystery, and then just make sure both mysteries are well balanced. And then obviously just changing the text because it hasn't been really changed yet before running into the boss, so on and so forth. And yeah, other tech stuff that I need to make sure works correctly, because I probably do want to bundle this all together and separate them, but depends on where I put it. It's probably gonna be Nexus mods, because perm plugin specific stuff, it's just in my mind to just throw everything on there, but I'll decide whether or not I want to do that. But definitely other stuff though, I'm gonna throw in the Discord, not perm plugin related. But yeah, without further ado, not gonna take up much more of your time. If you have anything to say, you know what to do. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.